Stand up, keep your hands to your side, smile big, and now kick as high as you can, and do that while looking gracefully. Okay, now imagine keeping your hands to your side, smiling, and basically running around in place for about 2 minutes. Keeping that smile, keep looking graceful. Now, imagine doing that with a wig, pounds of makeup, 3-pound shoes, all while someone is judging you. That is the simplest explanation I can give you for Irish dancing. It is a sport where you're judged both off of your dance, like your steps that you do, and your appearance. You are judged by 1 to 3 people during a competition that has 20 to hundreds of competitors in it. You have to be able to stand out, both in your steps and physically. Personally, I did Irish dancing for 10 years of my life. It was extremely taxing, both physically and mentally. I practiced anywhere from 20 to 30 hours a week, and sometimes that just wasn't enough. I wasn't what the judges were looking for. All that practice and effort goes into sometimes nothing, and you come out losing. Today, I'm going to show you how Irish dancing combines both appearance and hard work in order to impress a set of judges. Irish dancers practice about an average of 20 hours a week, and that's to be successful at the bare minimum. But when it comes to a competition, or as they're called feshes, which are Irish dancing competitions, dancers get all dolled up with fake tan, makeup, and extremely expensive dresses because they need to stand out on stage of 3 girls. Now let's start talking about practice. Irish dancing takes hours and hours to get it right. Dancers practice an average, like I said, of 20 hours a week. I personally, when competition season was up and running, personally practiced 20 to 30 hours a week. It's often a combination of actual dance practice, sprinting, and strength training. You try and get your heart rate between 170 and 180 beats per minute, which I always knew, but the Children's Health Hospital confirmed. Now, the Sweeney from the Children's Hospital did say that because Irish dancers practice so much, injuries are very common. They're stress fractures, ankle sprains, and plantar fasciitis because you're using your feet and your legs so much that sometimes they just give up. As well as getting your stamina up through sprinting and dancing, it takes hours of practicing on the little moves. Now, during actual dance practice, teachers will drill you for hours upon hours on a small little change of foot or something. So dancers have to practice at home so that when they come to practice, it's basically perfect. Perfection is expected of dancers. You are expected to not only have your steps down to perfection, but also look perfect. You practice to keep your arms, never can move, you can never have a space, and you always have to keep that smile. So if you turn around or you make eye contact with the judge, you look like you're having fun, even if you're not. Now that we've talked about practice, let's talk about appearance. So along with having good dances, you have to look the part. Irish dancing is an extremely superficial sport. Now, a little bit about the history from BBC. It used to be very simple, and it was mostly actually focused on the music. But now that is not the case anymore. What used to be just a plain skirt and a raggedy old top for girls is now probably a $3,000 dress covered in Swarovski crystals just to stand out on stage. Dancers are expected to look perfect. So your wig needs to be as high as possible, your makeup needs to be basically like stage makeup, you have to have perfect hands, your socks have to be the same height, your shoes have to be perfectly tied, which sounds simple, but getting ready is about a 2-3 hour process. And you are judged off of how you look. When you stand on stage, you have to stand out. There's no other option. Irish dancers, some examples are your wig color. Normally you either wear black, blonde, or red because those are the most standout colors. So even yourself, what you look like isn't good enough on stage because you're dancing with 3 girls and you have to be able to stand out. So now that we've talked about practice and appearance, let's talk about what actually matters, the judging. Judging depends on the level that you're actually dancing at, and the level of the competition. So I'm going to be using information from the Brady Campbell Irish Dance School. So let's start with the local feshes. There are beginner prize winner levels, and that's where there's one judge and you're judged out of 100 points. It's 3 girls dancing on stage, and basically there's 30 to 40 competitors, and you get first through however many girls are in it, and each dance is judged differently. Where prelim and championship is 3 judges, and they judge, you only have 3 dances, but they're 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes of intense dancing. You're on stage with 3 other people, so you really need to stand out because all those girls are doing different steps and high kicks and everything, and you need to be able to stand out. So that's what the local feshes, but let's talk about regional, nationals, and worlds. Prize winner beginner is there's 3 judges, and you're dancing on the stage with 3 girls, but you're doing all the same dance, and you're only doing 1 dance, and there's about 100 competitors in that. Now, championship is a little more intense. There's 7 judges, and 3 people dance at a time, again doing different dances, and there's hundreds of people per competition. You have to be able to stand out on stage. Judging is a very difficult sport because, because there are 3 people on stage with you, and the judges have to look from each person to try and get who they think is going to win. And now, first impressions are key. When you walk on stage, you have to look confident, you have to have a big smile, you have to look like you're there to have fun and dominate the floor and not be nervous. Now, this sounds a lot easier than it actually is. The Killarney Dance Company says that you have to look your best on Fesh Day, and you have to put on a persona. And that is very true, you really do, in order to make it really seem like you're there to win. Now, along with being judged on your appearance, you are obviously judged on your steps. Frida Colts from the Irish Central Timing tells us that appearance is obviously so important, but so is execution and carriage. You are being judged off of how crossed your legs are, how turned out your feet are, if your foot is pointed, anything like that. And that's really important because that is, in the end, what you are actually being judged off. And now let's all remember, judging is subjective. It doesn't matter if one judge thinks you're amazing, one judge may hate you. So it isn't an exact science, but it is something that you have to deal with. Now, in conclusion, hard work and what you look like all comes down to what the judges think of you. This whole sport is hard because you constantly fluctuate in positions. When you're an Irish dancer, you spend your whole life trying to be perfect. You have to get your feet a certain way, and my feet are still messed up from Irish dancing. You have to always smile, always be confident on stage, everything. And it's only 6 minutes of your life per competition, so that's really hard. It's taxing physically. You practice 20 to 30 hours a week, but you get so many injuries for only 3 minutes on stage. Mentally, because your personal appearance is not good enough. You have to change your hair color, change the color of your skin. You just need to be tanner so you can stand out. You have to have a super expensive dress, and you would think they should just focus on the steps and what you look like, but that's just how Irish dancing is. And the judges, they're judging you. That's their job, and it all comes down to appearance and how you dance in combination. So you have to be the image of perfection. Irish dancing is an amazing sport, and an amazing community surrounds it. And it is a sport that gets you in shape and ready for the world because you have to be able to be confident. You get ready to speak in public, just like this class, but you are able to go out in the world and be confident in your hard work and what you do. Because even though Irish dancing can be rough to go through, it gets you ready to be confident in yourself and what you have to provide.